Buckle up. This is Musicians and Beyond, where we bring you the backstage info on the life, lyrics, and long journeys of the music industry. Last episode, we had Eliza Smith, and she was awesome. So go back and check out that episode. She's a singer-songwriter. She came in with the guitar, and she had a great statement for me. The thing was beat up, and I said, Jesus, it looks like that thing's had better days. And she said, no, the best is yet to come. In that guitar, she tells us a story how Garth Brooks himself gave her the guitar, and it's quite a good story. And we're going to have some great stories today and hear some incredible music from Vanna Pacella.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
It's great to have you. Thanks for your patience and, taking the ride and coming up here to Musicians and Beyond in Winchester, Mass.
Yeah, I mean, 2 hours is nothing at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. You are literally just coming off traveling and being in the car for hours on end. Mm-hmm. You just did a tour of, a half dozen or a dozen states. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was amazing. We were out on the road for 2 weeks. We went up to Nashville. We drove all the way there. My parents came along with us in a big Sprinter van, and the band was in our other van. We just basically packed our whole life into our vans and drove as far as we could. And, it was honestly probably the most formative experience of my life. But yeah, there was pretty much no drive that was shorter than 6 hours. So 2 hours, that's a sneeze. That's nothing. Excellent.
So you had all these gigs set up. When you got to Nashville, what was the gig out there?
So I was playing in a writer's round, traditional writer's round in Nashville, which is something that you see happen a lot outside of Nashville. And so to be, I've played a handful of writers' rounds here that are inspired by the real Nashville round. So I was already just so excited to be doing the real thing. So yeah, I played a round with two other amazing artists downtown in Nashville, and I actually got booked to do it again.
Wow.
Yeah.
They must have liked you.
I hope so.
And I know why. So you traveled, your road crew, mm-hmm. who is head by your dad, who's a great sport, and we appreciate all the work and help you do. Who else is in your band?
Nothing would be possible without my roadie over here, and I never let anybody sit in on podcasts or any kind of interviews, so this is a special day for him. He's back.
Well, he's a special guy. He's very proud of you.
I'm sure.
Money well spent on those piano lessons. So who else is in your band?
So my guitarist, Tom Davis, who's incredible. Our new addition to the band is Ken Dellett on drums, and he's been playing with us since about October. So he kind of jumped right into it, and I was like, hey, our next dates are across the country. So yeah, that's so fun. we as our new band dynamic, we're generally new to playing together. Me and Tom have been playing together forever, but we were already really gelled when we played our first kind of shows together, but now it's a completely different animal. Now that we have all those shows under our belt.
And the reason that you went out on the road is because you were promoting this here. Tell us about this. This is your debut album.
Yes.
I got the autograph version.
Yes, you do. The vinyl. Awesome. Exclusive. There were only 100 copies made.
Really? So I feel very special. I'm going to cherish this.
Nice. Yeah, that is my debut album, Listen. It came out on July 25th. It is a very, very special collection of music. Honestly, there were so many different little musical and lyrical pieces that I kind of built into that record that I had been holding on to for a long time. So that was kind of the collection of music is almost a trajectory of my life in a sense, because there's so many different pieces of, stories from different happenings in the process of putting it together. And a lot of the album actually came together in the recording process, which was done in my house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And your music is very intense and emotion-based. Mm-hmm. And do they come from real-life experiences?
Yes.
They do?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people say you don't have to write about your own experiences. You can write about, something fictional. You can write about someone else's life. And anytime that I've attempted at doing that, there's a level of connection that I lack to it, because every song that I write, you can take from it what you want to, but it means something to me that's very personal, and I connect to everything that I make on a very deep level. So whenever I've tried to write something that maybe doesn't, 100% resonate with my life, I'm like, no. If that connection level isn't there for me, it could be a good piece of music, but it's not worth it for me to share.
Yeah. How did you figure out how to write a song?
That's a great question. I think that is something. There are many sides to songwriting. There's a side of like there's a sort of formula that works, and you can have a structure that is foolproof. And then there's another side to it that's like I decide to kind of trust where I'm feeling a song go, because some of the best songs weren't, because they followed a certain formula. They were because they followed what they were supposed to. So I try to let my songwriting kind of figure its own way. But yeah, I mean, I've written songs with different structures as far as how I'm going to approach them. So I've come up with lyrics first. I've come up with music first. I've come up with, the bones of a song and needed lyrics, and I've sat with it for 6 months and like been unable to find something that I feel fits it. And then there are songs that I've sat down and literally just played and had all the lyrics. Like I'll set up a voice memo and just like play, and I'm like, that's it. It's done. So sometimes they take 10 minutes, sometimes they take an hour, sometimes they take a month. So it's kind of unpredictable in that sense, but songwriting and the process of songwriting is something that I deeply cherish and value, because it also it kind of forces you to be more honest with yourself. So again, back to like writing about other people's experiences. If I'm writing about something and I have the intentions of writing about a specific story in my life or a specific feeling, I have to like force myself into a very deep honesty that sometimes I wouldn't otherwise do unless I'm doing that kind of reflecting. So, yeah.
I get it. So our viewers and listeners can go to vannapacella.com, and that's Pacella. You're also on Instagram, and you're in the process of getting a store up and running.
Yep, on my website.
But if you go see her live, you can buy all kinds of swag. You can get these fancy CDs, and you might even be able to get a vinyl if they're not sold out. But you have a whole array of things. So you're going to play a couple songs for us today. Are they going to be from the new album?
The first one I'm going to play is actually a single, and I think you have a copy of it over there. This one is called Periphery. At the time, there it is. At the time, I didn't feel that it fit the album, but I wrote it at the same time as the album, and so eventually I released it as a single just so it could, I still wanted people to hear it, and I feel that it would be impactful, but now it gets to live in its own little single world, and it has its own CD, so it's extra
That's
special.
awesome. Well, there's no better time to play it than now, and then maybe afterwards you can tell us how you came up with the lyrics for it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here is Vanna Pacella.
I
Beautiful. That was Vanna Pacella with Periphery. And you can get that on any platform. You can iTunes,
Yeah.
all of the above.
Spotify,
So
Apple Music, anywhere you listen.
yeah, anywhere you listen, go check it out and download some music.
Yeah.
So that was great. You could tell how emotional you get when you're singing and playing. So it emanates and it brings a true feeling to the song.
Thank you.
How did you come up with those lyrics and tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's really funny. Anyone who has ever almost every single person that I've had, like, write an article or write a review will always bring my songs back to, like, oh, it's a song about toxic love or a toxic relationship, and I've never been in a relationship, so speculate all you want. That's fine. The song is actually about something completely different. I wrote it about people who don't want the best for you, and realizing that it's easy to let people who don't want the best for you take up your vision. When you have people who are, pining for you to not be successful, it can kind of take up what you see. And that can mean anything to different people. And I like to write songs that can be examined and felt in many different ways, not just in the ways that I feel them, but for me, that was about saying, look, there's a life beyond this situation. There's a life beyond, negativity or someone else who doesn't align with you. It's, when you're fixated on something, it's easy to just, like, not look at what's over here. And, like, everything over here is great. So if I just kind of, like, look beyond it, then it's great. So that was about being in a position where I was, like, I was comfortable and healed enough to reflect on that. And just be like, hey, that didn't serve me, and that's okay, and that doesn't get to affect me anymore. That doesn't get to live in my line of sight.
Well, it's a great message, and
Thank you.
and I know firsthand that you really mean what you're saying, because we talked a little bit earlier. You were the winner of the New Artist of the Year for the Boston Music Awards, and
New England Music Awards.
New England Music Awards, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And you said yourself how proud you were of the other contestants, in that, yes, you did come in number one, but it doesn't mean that the others weren't also incredible. And, we don't know each other super well, but you had emanated how good all of the other contestants were. So that...
Of course. Yeah, I've always, I've participated in, competitions, musical competitions, but I've never considered myself a competitor when it comes to music, because there's no competition. It's something that's completely subjective, and everybody, someone can like something that you don't like, and that's totally normal, because this is a creative expression. So it's impossible to come through a sea of people who are working really hard and say, like, you deserve it more than someone else if we're all giving it our all. But that does not take away from the pride that I feel to be able to say, like, the work that we've put in as a band and the work that I've put in to establish myself is paying off. But yeah, I mean, the New England Music Awards and other events associated with that kind of situation, it's like, to be considered, to be nominated, it just means that we're putting in enough effort into our passion, and regardless of any kind of, like, status, like, that's just a really good way to feel about yourself, to be able to say, like, look, I'm passionate about something and I'm working really hard at it, and, like, other people are noticing that,
Yeah, and you are working hard and you're doing great.
Thank you.
I know what you're saying firsthand, because you and I had met last year at Seacoast Idol, and I screwed your name up. I called you Vanessa by mistake, but
It's regular.
It's interesting. I had the opportunity to be a judge in exactly what you said. There were so many good people up there. It was hard to pick out which one I liked better and why. And all of the other judges might not feel the same way. So it's a real subjective way
100%. Yeah, I have I've always had a tough time in the sense of any kind of competition, whether it be, American Idol or The Voice or some stuff like that. It's like, I, as an artist, what you're making should make some people, not want to listen. Like if you're making art that's really gonna connect with people, you're gonna have people who don't like it, and that's just part of it. Because I love Rick Rubin, and something that he said was like, you're not making something powerful enough to really connect with people until you have a group of people who don't like it. Because it's just the sense of passion that comes to like people saying, oh my god, this is something that I would listen to every day, versus people saying like, turn it off. Like, that's okay, people are gonna be like that. Right. But it's just being able to say like, no, like, I can make something that other people might not like. As long as I like it, the people who need it are gonna find it,
So sounds like a stupid question, but all the music that you put out there, mm-hmm. You love the music. You're not putting something out there because you think someone else is going to like it.
I actually have encountered this topic. This is the third time in the last 24 hours. So I had an interview yesterday where I talked about this. We have a very specific formula right now in music and mainstream music that is it sees success, so artists will follow it to be successful, whether it's monetarily or whether it's for fame or popularity or whatever. If this sells, we'll make this. And for me, I have songs that I've written that I like, they're good songs, but I don't connect with them to this extreme level that I'm unwilling to share them with anybody, because I just hold myself to that level. And it can be frustrating for myself at times because, I've said to myself, look, someone else might connect to this. Someone else might need this song. But if it's not there for me, then I'm not willing to let anyone hear it. And so when I hear of these situations where artists have to conform, whether it's for a record label or for a TV show or for money, it's unfathomable to me, because mm-hmm. I could not get up on stage and sing something that I didn't feel to my core. And whether or not that's necessarily a good thing for the business end of it, it doesn't matter to me, because I'm doing what I need to do for myself.
I like that philosophy.
Thank you.
It's good. and you can see the change in some artists when they go out there, mm-hmm. the ones that do conform because they have to.
Right.
And the authenticity isn't really there in
100%.
Your inauthentic singer-songwriter.
Thank you. Then I had a buddy of mine message me last night, kind of talking about that same topic and saying I feel like I'm finally getting to that point where I'm not creating from a standpoint of what other people want to hear. I'm creating for myself. And it's so, the switch to me as a musician and as a music lover, it's like night and day. I can hear it when someone's creating something that they love. And I think that as musicians and creative people in general, we should focus more on creating what we need as artists, rather than creating to please the masses. Because yes, it might see momentary success, but I don't think it's long-term feasible to be doing that.
Mm-hmm. And it's probably been about a year and a half since you've really starting to be known out there and kind of blowing up per se.
Thank you.
And that must be super exciting.
Very.
A year and a half ago, would you have thought that you're at the spot where you are now?
That's tough to say. If it comes down to my end of things and the work that I put in and that we put in as a group, yes, I would definitely see myself in this position. But it's definitely easy to kind of question that, because it's not just the work that I put in is a part of it, but it's not all of it. It definitely comes down to crowd participation and our success as far as being received from people. so it's heartwarming to see, and I definitely would believe it. I would believe it because of the passion that I have on the back end. But it's also shocking and, you know, overwhelming in all the best ways, you know?
It's exciting. So we went backwards to today. Let's go forward a little bit.
Yeah.
Where do you think, or where would you like to be in 4 or 5 years from now?
Again, second time I've been asked this in like 24 hours. And my answer to this question is I can do what I can do to kind of move that along, but I kind of just let things happen for me. As far as where I would see myself, I want to be doing exactly what I'm doing now, and I want to just keep growing and growing and let it get where it's supposed to be in 5 years. And I think that it's easy to say, you know, I have this goal and I need to be at this level of success and I need to have this level of audience and I need to have this amount of music out. And I think that can be kind of a make or break position for an artist, because if you're not meeting those goals, it can be detrimental. Not because of success reasons, but because of, you know, that feeling of letting yourself down, or not feeling like you're achieving what you're trying to achieve. So instead, for me, as long as I'm continuing to write and play and record and get out there and tour, there's no world in which we're not going to be successful, because we're already successful now.
You are successful. It sounds cool saying I just got back from tour.
Yeah, it's cool.
You know?
We're on the road.
It is cool. You're on the road. No, you're doing great things. So this is Musicians and Beyond. Please follow us on all of your social medias. And Vanna Pacella, Pacella. Also give her a follow and download her music and look up where she's going to be playing. You've got a lot of dates, potential dates coming up.
Yeah.
And those are going to be listed on your website,
Mm-hmm.
vannapacella.com.
Yeah.
And check those out. So would love to hear another song.
Absolutely. I'll play one off the album now. This one is actually the first single that we put out. It's called The Dark Side of the Light. Just wanna save you from the dark of the night. I could be the light if you wanted me to. I still listen for you, just to feed the flame and to feel the change. It's all that I can do. I still glisten for you in the dark of the night as I wait for the light to change. And I know that I should walk away, but it wouldn't matter anyway. I'm never gonna get away from you. I should have overcome the blow. Now I'm never gonna let it go. I'm never gonna get away from you.
That was Vanna Pacella. Awesome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, so that's the first song that we ever put out, the first song that we recorded, and it actually, we were scheduled for studio time, and one of our bandmates at the time was like, hey, we can try to record a demo of this. I have some gear. And so I was like, okay, we'll set it up in the basement and like try it out. And we were like, this is not demo quality. This is like studio quality. So we kind of all got inspired by that and decided to see what we could do on our own, you know? And it was undoubtedly the best decision that we could have made, because we spent way too much time on this song, like probably a solid month of just getting together like as often as possible and building this track. But I wouldn't have changed it for the world, because the product that we ended up with was something that I know, especially for what would have been my first time recording any of my original music, if we were to have done that in a studio outside of that environment, it would have I would have spent probably $50,000 in studio time, because we went all out and we got something that was very authentic. And for me, that time that we were able to spend like perfecting everything to the extent that I like needed was inspiring, in the sense of like I don't want to release something that I don't feel is absolutely as perfect as I could get it, because I'm just like a little bit of a perfectionist, if you haven't noticed that. So we did just that, and we ended up creating something in that process that put like a spark in me for recording, and I now produce all of my own music. I even produce music for a couple other artists as well. And this was kind of the introductory track to that. So it's not only very special for, you know, being the first song that we released, but it's very special for that reason as well.
Well, you're very amazing. You're a singer, a songwriter. You do the production. You're also a vocal coach.
I'm not a vocal coach. I wish I was a vocal coach.
You're not a vocal coach. Okay. Earlier you had said something about working with others?
So I have a vocal coach.
Oh,
and
I'm sorry.
I will
my
gladly
mistake.
plug my vocal coach, who
Absolutely.
is Mark Baxter, voicelesson.com, who I started working with a while ago, and actually before the tour, to kind of get myself into a mindset to be able to like perform extended, you know, periods of time, because we were performing shorter sets than I'm used to. I'm used to like, you know, 2 hours of performing. But just between the travel and the longevity of the, you know, the process being like 2 weeks out on the road, I wanted to make sure that I was both like mentally and vocally in a position to, you know, be able to do that. And it was the best decision that I could have made, because there's so much peace of mind in working with someone who's, you know, on your side and wanting the best for you. So it's wonderful.
That's awesome. Yeah, you have great voice control.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So hats off to your voice coach. So there are younger kids coming up in the world that want to be in your position. Mm-hmm. If a younger kid came up to you and said, Vanna, give me your best advice, what would you tell these young kids?
I think that I've been asked this question a few times, and my answer has stayed the same and also morphed a little bit as I've progressed in this creative environment and this career. Obviously, my main piece of advice would be to stay true to yourself, because everyone in this career field has their 2 cents for you. And, you know, if I listened to what other people say, I would be in a completely different position than I'm in right now. And whether or not that's better or worse, I would much rather be, you know, following my heart and taking pieces of advice with a grain of salt. And essentially knowing that other people can have advice for you and that you don't have to necessarily fulfill their wishes for you is a very powerful mindset, and it's a very powerful statement to like repeat to yourself, because I am, you know, as a young performer, again, I can't express how many people have plans for me, or have, this is what you should do, this is what will get you there. And even down to, the actual art and the actual creative process. Like, people will say, like, no, you should have someone come, chop your songs down because they're too long. If I did that, like, yeah, maybe I would get more streams than, full length, but I also love to solo. I love guitar solos, I love piano solos. I wouldn't want to make my song shorter to appease the masses. I want it to be my song. So I think my main advice would be knowing your value and trusting your trusting your gut. And the second piece of advice that I would have, which is kind of developed as of more lately, is you have to know that this is what you want. Because it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna go down this career path, I'm gonna be a musician, I'm gonna be a songwriter, a singer. It takes way more effort than we lead on as musicians. You have to be ready to invest everything of yourself, both, physically, mentally, monetarily, all of your time. Your heart has to be so in it that you are ready to give everything that you have. And I think that is a very intimidating factor to a lot of people, and that can be what steers people away from it eventually. And I think going into it, make that decision early on of whether or not you are 100% dead set to this career.
So as a musician, the least amount of time spent is probably actually performing.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Yeah, there's so much, behind the scenes. There's the travel and setting up gigs and recording and all kinds of...
Yeah, I mean, it goes beyond that. Obviously, there's the performing is like the fun part, like the absolute, like, yes, we're on stage, we get to show these people what we can do, this is great. There's everything involved in like a show day. It's not just like pulling up and getting ready for your gig. It's a full day of preparing yourself to perform, between traveling and loading in and getting mentally into the mindset to perform, and then the off time of performing, obviously writing and recording. It's not for the faint of heart. It definitely takes a lot of, as I said earlier, like reflecting mentally. It takes a lot of being honest with yourself. It takes a lot of pushing yourself. Like, I spend so much time every day just practicing and working and like practicing my writing and practicing my vocal abilities and just doing anything that I can to get better today. I think that's an important factor, is doing what you can today to make yourself better for tomorrow. And there's no days off, even if you're sick. I got so sick on tour. We landed in Nashville and I was like out for the entire week. I was so sick, and I didn't miss any of my shows. And I worked for hours. I completely lost my voice. So I was in our Airbnb in Nashville, just like warming up. Like, probably I spent at least 6 hours for 3 days each day, working as hard as I could to just like get everything moving along, and I didn't miss anything. But it's a commitment like that to be able to say, like, this is what I want, and I got here, and we made it this far, and I'm gonna do anything I can to get there and make it happen. I will also say that I can have this drive, and any kind of young artist can have this drive, but without having a surrounded crew of people who agree with that mindset, it would be impossible. So I'm very grateful to have my wonderful team beside me, ready to help me get where I'm hoping to be.
Excellent. And you are out promoting this new album.
Mm-hmm.
And when do you start writing your next one, or have you already?
At this point, I probably have like an album and a half worth of material that would be working towards the next album. But again, I hold myself to that standard where I don't want to release anything that I don't feel is, fit for the time or fit for what I want to say. I think as artists, we can easily fall into this kind of trap of like, oh look, I made a song and it's good and I want people to hear it, because we want to be loved, we want to be valued, we want people to be excited by what we're saying. But as an artist, the biggest sense of power that we have that is often overlooked is that we have a voice. We can say whatever we want to. So I think right now I'm figuring out what I want to say with my next record. But I've definitely started the writing process already, and that's not really something that I try too hard to fit into a time frame. I love writing and creating for myself. So I let that happen, and I was writing the whole time on tour. When I was a silent mute on tour, I was working, and I have a lot of new music in the works that I'm very proud of, and I even have plans for a new single to come out hopefully soon that I'm in the process of recording.
Looking forward to hearing that news.
Yeah.
Wow. Before we go and say goodbye, would love to hear another song.
Yeah.
And then we can chit-chat a little bit more, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Absolutely.
All right. Here's Vanna Pacella.
I am actually going to play an unreleased song. Yeah, one of the newer ones that I'm working on. Maybe I am grasping at glimpses. I hate to admit it, but I'll always be true. Maybe I did, or maybe I didn't. But hey, what's the difference? It ain't nothing to you. And hidden from the blackness, barren and stagnant, running love heat from my hands. So I grew my bones tough and built us a home of branches and uncertain plans, just somewhere to dance. Maybe I would, or maybe I'm losing. Battered and bruising, and they never quite heal. What have I done I'll live off the notion you might have what I need. You might have what I need. You might have what I need.
Award-winning Vanna Pacella. Thank you so much for everything. You are like amazing all around. And I have to thank Maeve, Jack, and Matt also for this great setup and doing the sound and video. And they even had to pull Dave out of the bullpen for an opinion. And we thank them here at WinCam Studios. But Vanessa,
There it
cut
is.
that. There it is. So worried about saying the wrong thing. Vanna Pacella. Again, check her out. It's Pacella, and she is on all of the Instagram and Facebook. And download her music and check out where she's going to be. And, you know, we like to think that our guests come in as an acquaintance and leave as a friend. And,
Absolutely.
Your road crew and you, I want to thank you guys for coming in and being our friends.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been wonderful. I hope to be back again.
It was great. We can't wait to see you where your journey takes you.
Thank you.
Thank you.